What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video. This video is going to be all about like hot bags, hot zones, and like red zones, or like hotspots and red zones. It's just one of those things where a lot of people think that you should just be chasing hotspots, which is not something that you should be doing. And there's also a lot of like people who are over here being like, oh yeah, I don't need to use a hot bag ever, like things like that. So I'm just going to make a short video about everything, just get it all out of the way. So let's start with hot bags. Should you or should you not use a hot bag? And should you have multiple hot bags? And should you have multiple different types of hot bags? Yes, but also no. It really kind of depends on how frequently you're doing specific orders. You should have a standard hot bag. You should always have a standard hot bag with you in your car. I have two of them because I do a lot of stacked orders. You should at least have one just basic hot bag in your car. Usually if you do DoorDash, you will get a hot bag after completing a certain amount of orders or after being on the platform for a certain amount of time. They will send it within your welcome kit with your red card, as well as like some tips and tricks. So you should have a hot bag from that. If you don't get a hot bag through that, there's other platforms, like if you sign up for Uber Eats, Grubhub, or even if you go on like Amazon, you can order a hot bag. Usually they're pretty cheap. Usually sometime around like $10 to $15 for a basic one, with some more high quality ones or high-end ones going for a little bit more. You should also, if you do plan on doing DoorDash full time, or at least doing DoorDash more frequently, you should also invest in a pizza bag. Pizza bags are one of those things where certain restaurants do require pizza bags, and they're also very easy to get. Sometimes you can order it through the DoorDash app if you want to, or like through the DoorDash website. Or if you go to some pizza places, like for example, main chains, Pizza Hut, Domino's, things along those lines, they sometimes do offer free pizza bags as long as you ask. So if you don't have a pizza bag, or if you want another pizza bag, if you already have one, or if yours breaks or whatever, you can always go into one of those locations and ask for a pizza bag, and they are most likely going to have it to you if they have, or give it to you if they have any left. Now, when it comes to catering bags, that's a whole different thing, depending on whether or not you're doing catering orders or large orders, or if you do frequent catering orders. May depend on whether or not you have one. For me, I don't do catering orders that much. I do maybe a catering order a week if I'm lucky. So to me, it's just beneficial for me to just put it in my normal bag. Most times it'll fit in there, or my pizza bag. I can always just use my pizza bag as like a temporary catering bag. Or if it doesn't fit into either one, I will typically just leave it out, just because I typically don't do many catering orders. So there's no point in me spending the money on buying a catering bag if I'm not going to really be using it. Now, another thing I would also recommend having, which isn't necessarily a hot bag, but it will help you when it comes with delivering, is a drink carrier. Whether or not this is actual like disposable ones that you can get from restaurants, or an actual one that you can order on like Amazon, having one will help you, especially if you were given multiple drinks without one of the disposable drink carriers. It will save you time and it'll prevent spills. Another thing that you could have with hot bags, or with just DoorDash in general, is either a tarp or some plastic or whatever you would decide that you can lay on your seats. A lot of times people don't think about the fact that things do spill, things leak. There are times where I've delivered pizza where the entire like bottom of the pizza has soaked through the pizza bag onto my seat, or it's happened with drinks where sometimes even if I have my drink in my cup holders or my drink carrier, it'll tip over or it'll start leaking, and that could just cause a lot of mess. So having something like that can be helpful, and I'll be doing a whole nother video on things that every DoorDasher should have. Next is going to be hotspots and red zones. If you've ever done DoorDash before, or you're new to DoorDash and you've never really seen the map, there are always these little like flame symbols as well as red strips. Usually those red strips are hot zone, and then the like little flame icons are hot spots. A hot spot is usually a restaurant, grocery store, or location in general that is getting frequent orders within a certain 10-minute time span. A red zone is a collection of stores or collection of locations that are getting frequent orders. So you could have a red strip of like a McDonald's, a Taco Bell, and a Wendy's all within the same red strip because they're all getting frequent orders, but have one of those three locations be the dominant one. Question is, should you be chasing hotspots or should you be chasing red zones? And the answer is no. If you're new to doing DoorDash, or if you're in a location that has a lot of hot zones, like a major city, for example, it might be a little bit harder for you to be able to avoid dashing in a hot zone. However, you shouldn't actively be searching for hot zones. Instead, the best solution for you would be to find your own dedicated area, somewhere that's surrounded by a bunch of restaurants and grocery stores if you do plan on doing shopping orders, and positioning yourself in a place where there might not be a lot of dashers, but there's a lot of restaurants where you can get orders. For me, there are 3 separate locations I sit at and wait for orders. Each one of them occasionally has a hotspot in it, but the other 2 do not have hotspots in it, but they are really good places where I can get a lot of off. And they're also in a really big area where there's a bunch of stores around me and a bunch of restaurants around. Don't go chasing hotspots or red zones. Only use them as a reference and not a like end all be all. Because the other thing with hotspots and red zones is the fact that they are based on historical data. They are based on the previous 10 minutes of data that they are collecting. A McDonald's could easily be hot, be a hot spot for 10 minutes and show on the map, but can be completely dead afterwards, and it would not be worth it. Especially if you're traveling far to be chasing those hot spots, you could just be wasting gas, you could be wasting mileage, you could easily be wasting time too, depending on if you get an offer or not. And a lot of times the hot spots are not places with good quality orders where you're going to be getting a lot of money. There are places that get frequent orders, like I was saying before, McDonald's. Another one that I see frequently is Taco Bell or Wendy's. They're going to be places with fast food primarily, just purely because of the fact that people are going to be ordering a lot of fast food. You're not going to be around places like a Red Robin or Buffalo Wild Wing or any sort of place where you're going to be getting really big orders, catering orders, high value orders, because of the fact that hotspots tend to chase places where they only get frequent orders. And not everyone is going to be ordering from a high-end store or restaurant every single day. But anyway, guys, that's kind of it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give it a like. Let me know in the comments below, did I miss anything? Do you have a specific place that you sit in? Or do you enjoy sitting in hotspots? Do they work well for you? Leave that all below, and I'll see you in the next one.